Hello, welcome to the Mark Attwood Show, Adventures in a Cosmic Suit. So before I start, anybody watching this that's new to the channel or hasn't connected with me before, there's a link below the video to a link.tree/Mark Attwood Show. In there is my email address list, which is the most important thing for you to sign up to if you want to stay in touch with what I'm doing, because I've already lost one YouTube channel and who knows how long this one's going to last. If you're not watching it on YouTube, still sign up to it because you might miss some stuff. And today is, I'm pretty excited about this because I'm going to be talking about light language. And I'm joined by Shirley Wilson in Australia. Hello, Shirley.
Hello, Mark.
Whereabouts in Australia are you?
I'm in Albury, New South Wales.
NSW, yeah.
Regional New South Wales, near the Victorian border.
How is it there? Lockdown-wise,
beautiful weather.
The weather's good, yeah. But how the government there?
New South Wales is probably more, what should I say, free than some of the other states. We don't have quite as bad mandates as the other states. Our regulations relaxed the same day as Victoria's went back into a 3 or 5 day lockdown, whatever it was earlier this year. So we actually are quite relaxed here. There are mandatory QR codes, but a lot of businesses, if you don't have a QR scanner on your phone, they let you fill out manually.
Yeah, I filled a few of those out. John Smith, normally I put. And then the phone number I write down is actually the coordinates of the constellation of Castorberus, which is because I can see that Dalek behind you.
My big Dalek.
And there's a Tom Baker joke when he was in the 70s doing Doctor Who. Whenever he had to read out the coordinates of the constellation of Castorberus, which is where Gallifrey is, he'd just say the BBC phone number. 012745659. That's an Doctor Who in joke. So you emailed me about light codes.
Light language symbols, yeah.
Light language symbols, yeah. And this fascinates me. And before we get into that, I'd like to, before we started talking, you told me that you'd, when the lockdown happened and everything else, it was like all these gifts came back to you that had been, were they dormant or were you just not doing them much? Or
I'm not sure if they're completely new in this life or if I've obviously had them before. My background is Lemurian. So I'm not sure whether, like I have done light language symbols before, but they normally came through as part of a Reiki. And at the end of the Reiki, I would talk to the person about what had come through and I'd draw their symbol for them and give it to them. And that's sort of how it happened. But this time it was a little bit differently. At the conclusion of my complete and utter mental, physical, emotional breakdown that happened last year, all of these new things started happening for me. And my intuition just expanded. And sort of 2 to 3 days before the Victorian Premier would make one of his major announcements on what was happening, I would get this feeling in my stomach like it was nervous, excitement, apprehension, and I wouldn't be able to eat and my stomach would be churning. And I'd say to my friends, something's coming. And they go, good or bad? And I go, I think this one isn't a good one. And then 2 or 3 days later, bang, there'd be an announcement. So that was happening for me a lot. And it's super weird because the last few days, that feeling's back.
Yeah, I've had that feeling all week.
Yeah, it's been there pretty much all this week. And I think that's partly why I was so discombobulated yesterday, that and I had this most bizarre dream a few weeks ago, and a white dragon of protection came in after the dream. So I wouldn't mind telling you about the dream, but I don't really want to do that on camera.
That's fine.
But it was, and I knew when I woke up, it actually wasn't a dream.
Yeah.
So that was really bizarre. This feeling has been there for quite a few days now. It's like the pot's boiling.
Yes, exactly.
And the lid's going to blow soon. That's how I get it.
Exactly how I'm feeling that. Loads of people that I know are feeling that.
Yep.
It's definitely something brewing.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
But you had a total breakdown last year.
Yes.
Were you obviously you were a Reiki master, I assume.
Yeah.
But you also worked as a business coach. Were you working in 3D and then breakdown and then all back into?
Well, it wasn't working at all, because with the shutdowns, we lost the jobs because we lived in Queensland on the Sunshine Coast for most of my life.
Yeah.
And we moved to Victoria, to Mount Beauty, for a tree change. Beautiful little country town in the mountains, mountain energy like you wouldn't believe. Beautiful place. Scenery was stunning. But we both lost our jobs with the shutdowns. We weren't eligible for any government funding. We'd sold a house in Queensland, so for 9 months we supported ourselves financially on the money from that house. And my family were all in Queensland. It was 15 days to flatten the curve. In 6 weeks, Queensland was out of what was going on, but Victoria was still in the thick of it. And then we had more shutdowns, masks, dibby-dobbing, a 1-800 number to dob in your neighbours for doing the wrong thing, if you can believe that.
I can, because I've read 1984.
Oh, and people were doing it. I took myself off all the local community pages because people were, that family riding your bikes without masks, blah, 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 blah. And then the poor family would come back and go, well, actually, we've got medical exemptions. You know, my son's got this, or my daughter's got that, or this. And I'm thinking, people. And I actually posted one day, you probably would have dobbed in Anne Frank.
Exactly.
And someone went, who's Anne Frank? And I thought, what hope have we got?
Well, there you go. I've got a fantastic exemption when people ask me, do you know what it is?
Shit.
Because I'm not a fucking moron! Anyway, no, I'm sorry. Any 5Ders watching this thinking I should have more compassion for them. It's very difficult for me.
I started out with it.
They're nasty. They're nasty. They're nasty. They just lost all humanity. Did you see the video I did recently about you're either a collaborator or you're not? And that's the way I feel now. They're collaborators in the demise of the human race, and hard to have compassion for people. Hard to have compassion. I mean, I'm trying to do my best.
It is hard, and I've often said to people, I know which side of history I want to be on.
Precisely. And it's do
people
or die.
Are crazy. That logic has gone out of the window. Critical thinking has gone out of the window.
It was never there.
Common sense, gone, doesn't even exist. It's such a superpower now because it's so rare.
Common sense is everything to me. You know, it's all about common sense. But I think a lot of people just never had it.
No, it's been quite rare. I mean, I've been a trainer for a long time. I've worked with a lot of students, and I must say, yeah, common sense has been rare for quite some time.
Yeah, it has. But anyway, light language. So
yes.
Tell me your light language story. What is it? How do you get to it? How do you find it? And what do you
It finds me.
Yeah.
So I don't find it. So let's say, for example, you were to say to me, surely I'd really like you to download a light language symbol for me. I say, sure, that's no problem. You don't have to be with me. You don't have to be in the room. You don't have to be anywhere. And what I do is I select a deck of oracle cards from my vast range of oracle cards, and I sort of stand there and I center myself and I say the person's name a few times, connect with their energy, select a deck of oracle cards. Then I put some crystals on the oracle cards, and I might leave them sit there for up to 24 hours. It just depends what I've got going on and how long I feel they should be there. Then I will shuffle the cards, and whilst I'm thinking of the person, I will select the cards for them. From there, I use the cards and I make up a crystal grid. Whilst that process is going on, the symbol is forming in my head. So I can actually start seeing the picture in my head. Then I start to draw the symbol, and I'm no artist by any stretch of the imagination, as you will have seen. I draw the symbol, and as I've done that, between the grid, the oracle cards, and the symbol, I start getting information for the person. So some of the information is quite comprehensive. For some people, it's only maybe sentences or like dot form, note form, rather than full paragraph information. And the symbol always has a name. Now, I don't always do On yours, there was the 2 lines of light language at the bottom as well with the translation. I don't always do that. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's the main symbol, and sometimes there'll be a secondary symbol or 2 or 3 secondary symbols. And they may not have a name, but they'll have something that they mean. So my light language symbol, just gone right out of my head now, it's here somewhere, is keeper of the knowledge or keeper of the wisdom, something like that. I can find it in a minute, but as soon as I said my light language symbol, gone. It's gone out of my head. And that's my symbol. And I got that many, many, many years ago, but I didn't realize I could do it for other people.
So you got that directly, not somebody else giving it to you?
No, I got that directly.
And this was like, is this since you were a little girl, or?
No, in my adult life. That's actually interesting, because in the Homemade Quinine group, Elizabeth Port put a post about the original part of Christmas and that, and it reminded me of a memory from when I was a child. I actually wrote a story about the first Christmas, and it was nothing like what Christmas is now. And a lot of what she'd written there, it triggered this memory of the story. And the story actually got published in the local newspaper. And I was in primary school. And I can't remember all the details of it, other than there was angels there was the Christmas star, people came down, and it was like a story for humans, but I can't remember any of the details. And I have tried, because someone said to me, can you elaborate on that? But it's not coming to me. So it's obviously not the right time for me to elaborate. But it was interesting that her talking about the Christmas star triggered that memory for me.
Yeah. So things were happening to you as a kid. I'm just interested, and you don't have to answer this, but did you have any major trauma when you were younger that opened up these abilities?
Moving to Australia was really traumatic. We moved here when I was 9, and that was really traumatic. I didn't want to go. I cried all the way to Singapore from London Heathrow. I really didn't want to leave, and we came to Australia, our whole family, my mum and dad and us 4 kids. But other than that, no, I can't really think of anything that was. But I used to write poems and stories, and I got them published in local magazines, local newspapers. And interestingly, through this breakdown thing that happened last year, I've actually started to write a book, but it's not me.
Understood.
I wake up in the middle of the night with this sentence running through my head, and I kind of go, oh, the first couple of times I went, what's that about? And then the sentence just kept repeating, and I couldn't go to sleep. And I got to journal this. So I grabbed my journal. Next thing I know, I've written a chapter of the book. Yeah. And then the next one happened, and then the next one happened. So that's sort of happening. And I thought it was going to be a children's story. It is, but it isn't. It's on 2 levels.
Yeah.
So, and there's light language in it, and there's fairies, and there's dragons, and there's wood nymphs, and there's people who live under the water, and there's trees that talk.
Yeah, this is great. And we need this, right? Because children's literature has been totally taken over by satanic shit, and they're being programmed and indoctrinated and attacked from a very early age by things that look really nice, but are really actually very, very dark. So yeah, that's interesting that you're doing that, and JC's reading children's stories out on YouTube, stuff like that. I'm looking forward to getting through this and all these magical stories that we can then tell, and they're all good, and we can make movies and books, poems, and it's a wonderful time ahead. And the art that's going to come out of this is going to be amazing.
Creativity that they've stopped for so long.
Yeah, and it's already happening. So I totally relate to every single thing you just said.
It's really weird, because this book, when I read, because I don't remember it, I read back through the first chapter, and the book's about the great sickness.
Oh, there you go.
The human great sickness. But then as you go on, it's not really about that, but that's in it. But then as you go on, the great sickness isn't actually a virus or an illness. It's actually what's happened to the human race.
Yeah. No, there is no. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. The flu rebranded. It's got its own marketing.
Yeah, it's got a great marketing team. I should have been on that
You
team.
should have got in on that really from the start.
No, I could have done a great job on the SEO for that.
I don't think they need it. They're doing
They
great.
didn't need it. They just put it everywhere. It's incredible.
It's the only pandemic in history to have its own marketing.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Crazy, crazy stuff.
Anyway, my light language symbols.
Yes.
Can you share the screen and show them, or there's a share button at the bottom there? Can you see it?
Yeah. So if I go share.
Yeah.
So if I go share screen, do I need to have it open?
Well, if you
have two monitors.
If you click share screen, it should give you the option of what you want to show. Across the top, it says, app or Chrome tab.
No, screen sharing is easiest with two monitors. Screen sharing works best on a good computer. Okay, let's go screen share. Oh, there we go. Let's access my computer. No, we don't need all that there. Sorry, this is if I bring.
That's
okay,
right.
That's it. So can I get rid of that?
Normal chat in 2021 is at least a minute going, how do I do it?
Can I cancel this share your screen thing now, or will that take it away?
Well, you've not done anything yet.
Oh, it was there. Where did it go? Oh, it's gone back here. There it is. So is that it? So do I share my entire screen, or?
It's up to you. You can share the screen, or you can share a tab, or you can share a file. So if it's...
It says application window. Is that what I want to share?
It's... yeah, an application window. So you can pick. Look, I'll show you. Look, here's me sharing. Here's me doing it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
I'm sharing it. I'm already sharing it. This is what you sent me.
So do I need to share it now? If you're sharing?
No, you don't need to now because I've done it for you. I thought you'd want it anyway. Look, here it is.
I could. I just can't. Look, I've got it here, but I didn't know how to make it share. It's right there.
It's fine. We've solved the problem. Here it is.
Sorry about that. Told you I wasn't good with the technological stuff.
It's all good. It's all good. We're here. So here's what you sent me.
Yep. So that's how to draw it. So I always send two pictures. One is the symbol as I download it, and the second one is with how to draw it. So those little arrows tell you how to draw it.
Yeah.
In case you want to at any point in time.
So why would I want to draw it?
You might want to seal a room with it. You might want to seal a grid with it. So I seal grids with mine. Okay. You might want to.
Let's go through those one at a time. For people watching this that don't know what that means, like me. How do I seal a room with this? What does that mean?
So you've done Reiki, right? So you know your Reiki symbols. You do your Reiki symbols. So this is a symbol that's similar. Now, normally people don't share their symbols as such.
Yeah.
But it's obviously up to you. It's your symbol. If you want to share it, you can. But I wouldn't share it with someone else. So you could use that symbol. You could draw that symbol. I've had someone who's used it as like their personal branding and like their signature on things that they send out.
Well,
so
I'm going to interrupt you there because that's the first thing I thought when I saw it, because it's like an MA, and the first thing I thought was, oh, that could be my logo.
Yeah, and that's people have used it for that. Other people have just gone, oh, that's really nice, and taken more interest in the reading than the actual symbol. Some people just wanted to have it, so they always have a name. Yours is Unification.
Okay.
And not every symbol tells me which way to draw it. So sometimes if I don't get that, how to draw it, that means you can draw it any which way you like and it won't matter. But some of them have that specific way. So yours is very specific on how you draw it. Okay,
so let's go back a little bit to when you said seal a room. What do you mean by that?
So with Reiki, you can seal a room.
Mm-hmm.
You can protect a room. You can put your signature on a room. So you can use your symbol to do that if you'd like to. It's your symbol. So how you'd like to use it is governed only by your intuition.
So I would, intuitively, I'm thinking I would do this. I'd just do it with my finger in the air.
You could, or your whole hand, like the palm of your hand, or you could use a Lemurian seed quartz to do it, or whatever comes. Yeah, your selenite wand, whatever comes.
Finally, I've got a use for the wand, Joanne.
Mine's bigger than yours.
Yeah, I know. I've got every woman I speak to has much bigger crystals than I do. I know. I'm a beginner.
You know what this is? Actually my husband's, and a psychic gave it to him as a talking stick so that he could get a word in edgeways.
Hang on, I've got crystal envy with your husband now.
But I've looked at it now. Mine, it goes in my crystal drawer.
So this is on the 24th of Feb. You got this symbol. You got how to draw it. Unification. Where does that just came to you? Do you have a interpretation of that?
It's the name of your symbol or the purpose of your symbol, or your purpose, whatever it sort of sits with you. And some people, when they read that, they get immediately what it's for.
Yeah.
Whether it's the symbol's name, your purpose, its purpose, together your purpose. It just, it just depends.
It's funny you say that, because from the beginning of this, I felt like I was a bridge, because I'm not like hippy dippy spiritual guy. I'm woo-woo to the mainstreamers, and I'm a bit mainstream to the woo-wooers. I've always felt like in the middle.
So here we go. The purpose of your symbol, yours and the symbol, this is what in the Word document I sent you, is to unify, to reveal, to be.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep. And traveller of realms, keeper of the tales.
One at a time. Yeah, traveller of realms. I'm doing that all the time.
Well, we can start at the top if you like.
Yeah, go on.
So I got that there was a Lemurian connection further back and an Atlantean connection. For me, the Lemurian one was stronger, probably because that's so I have this little radar. I can pick out Lemurian people. I said to my brother just the other day, your background's Lemurian, isn't it? He went, yeah, how did you know? I just get it.
Well, let's just slow it down a little bit, because I know that, this is all second nature to you to talk about this stuff. But anybody listening who doesn't know what it means to have a Lemurian, what does it mean to have a Lemurian connection?
Well, how many lifetimes ago were we reincarnated back in those times? So I did a crystal dreaming meditation with a lady in Queensland. She did a 2-day workshop on Atlantis and Lemuria, and I discovered I'd been in both places, but the Lemurian connection for me is coming through really strongly in this life, the nature, the heart-based connection. And when I first started speaking light language, I knew straight away that it was Lemurian light language.
Yeah.
So it's quite a gentle light language. I don't know. Could you listen to the recording?
Yeah.
Some people can't. It's quite a gentle light language, whereas other people's light language is more guttural. Has a bit of a harsher tone to it, and I think that's the Lemurian.
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking this for viewers because it's I know some people who watch this and don't even know what Lemuria is or was.
Well, it existed a very, 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 very long time ago.
Yeah.
And it's the way we are coming back to now. Service to others, nature, connection, community, people first over profit.
Yeah.
That's the life we need to go back to.
Literally music to my ears. This is why the trees are talking to me at the moment. It's unbelievable.
The trees.
I walked past a tree the other day, and I swear to God, it stopped me in my tracks. I looked at this tree. It was the most magnificent tree I'd ever seen. And I was with a friend, and my friend just stopped this woman who happened to be walking past. So, excuse me, do you know what kind of tree that is? And she looked at him and went, well, I know what it is in Latvian, but I don't know what it is in English. And he went, oh, what is it in Latvian? And then I looked it up and I found out what it was. It must have been the chances of meeting a young woman as well, who not only knew what the tree was called, but also is a tree hugger and also knew all the properties of this specific tree, was unbelievable. It was amazing.
So when I used to live at Mount Beauty and I'd walk the Pebble Beach Trail, which is just the most stunning, there were some very old trees there, and one in particular is in my book. I knew as soon as I saw him, he was going to be in my book. And he spoke to me, and I put my hand on the tree and I can feel their heartbeat. So
yeah, well,
straight away, and they all have different heartbeats.
Well, same as humans, I suppose.
Yeah, so I put my hand on them, and he actually gave me a poem one day, and it was towards the end of my breakdown when I was coming through it and feeling better about myself and what was going on and what was happening. And he actually gave me a poem, which I put on my Facebook page.
Brilliant.
And it was really lovely.
So are you clairaudient? Have you got one of them as well? Oh, no, you got a different one. So you're clairaudient.
Different times, different things. So sometimes I just know, sometimes I hear, sometimes I see, sometimes it's a combination of all of them.
Yeah, I'm just starting to, because JC, for example, she literally hears the words and they talk to her in very clear English, and they tell her their names. Like she met a tree called Brenda the other day, which made me laugh.
Yeah, no, these mostly the heartbeat, and then this tree gave me the poem. But then when I stand there with my hand on them, I can hear what they're saying, and I know how they're connected.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's keep going through this document.
Okay.
Unification, and then you've got all these symbols at the bottom. What are they?
This one, these are more symbols, and the translation for those is that the symbols, sorry, I can't read it on there. Let me just find it. The symbols above mean the light in me sees the light in you, and so it is. That's those two lines of symbols. So the other thing,
that's namaste.
The other thing that happens with me a lot of the time, but not all the time, I can actually translate what I say. So a lot of people can speak light language, but they can't translate it. A lot of times I can do both.
Cool.
I can do it in light language, but then I think your recording was light language, but then I explained it in English.
Yeah.
I think, because once I've done these and I've sent them off, I actually don't remember.
Yeah, just go.
So I have to pull it up to talk to people about it because I don't remember it's gone.
Yeah, I understand that. So you sent a load of other stuff to me. Is there any of that you want to see if you can, or not, or talk through?
So the Word document, which there it is, the Word document which I sent. I also saw with you a bold blue dragon.
Ah, really?
Yep.
How weird is that? Because that's before I got sent the bold blue dragon from Joanne Dunn.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Oh no, I love it. I love it. It's brilliant. And
so
that blue dragon has been helping me out a lot.
Well, my white protection dragon's been there, and he appeared after this dream that wasn't really a dream, and he's there. Like as soon as I think of him, I can see him flying around above my head.
Amazing.
So the bold blue dragon, then I saw you as an ancient master. So it was like a wizened old man. So think Gandalf or Merlin.
That's the way I look now.
Yeah.
Wizard.
A bit more wizened. Long white hair and a beard, holding a staff topped with a huge quartz crystal. And you're standing in front of the bold blue dragon, and he was looking up lovingly at you.
Wow. You sure he was looking up? I'm not very tall.
But you're this, you're this big, wizened old.
Is this why I've identified for years with Gandalf and Merlin especially when I was all through my life. That's amazing.
And Merlin and the Arthurian legends are huge for me. I've just got a new deck of oracle cards called the Mists of Avalon, and I just love them. So then the other things that came through were Keeper of the Tales, Truth Teller, Ancient Wisdom Now Revealed. You've always been a poet/bard. You travelled the earth in ancient times, making your living as a bard. That way you could reach large numbers of people freely, but still under the radar.
Yeah, I've always, it's funny because I was a stand-up poet for years, and not a stand-up comic and a stand-up poet. And I loved just traveling around and turning up in places. And my comedy was always charged with righteousness in a weird, dressed up on the characters usually. And the TV companies didn't didn't like it too much, but I'd hide my stuff within the stuff that I made, and I enjoyed that. And I think I've always been like that. That really
You've been doing it for a really long time. That's how you've always flown under the radar.
it really resonates with me. That
Yeah. Cultural keeper, traveler of realms, freedom seeker, truth teller, pastimes, love humans, passionate. And I think that last video you put out really personifies the passion.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything about that. It just came out. You know, some people think it's harsh to say what I said, but I don't. I don't remember what I said. The same as you, I don't remember what I said. I had to go and look at it again to remember.
Yeah. Then I've got there, wants to stay, wants to go, other realms. And as I'm rereading that back through now, it's coming. You would love to just go and play in the other realms all the time. That's where you want to be, but you know that you have to be here because of your kids. And so you've got that want to stay, want to go, want to stay, want to go thing going on all the time with those other realms. And I mean, you know, who doesn't really? Especially on the bad days. Beam me up, Scotty, take me away.
Not the planet I want to get off.
That's it. Take me away. So I have been known to occasionally go, oh God, just beam me up, Scotty. So that's what you're getting there. Now, this came through. One of your children is a torch carrier, truth seeker, to carry the baton for you, with you. Ancient secrets revealed, secrets held within a cavern for millennia. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you know what that means.
I have an idea.
And then just all is well, all is well, all is well.
Well, that's good. The all is well bit. We should talk about that a little bit, actually, because some of my online friends have been attacked a lot recently for hopium. What is like, and the naysayers are saying you can't give people hope and then take it away because blah blah blah, and it's such a spiky subject, because I never feel like I'm giving hopium. I'm just a very optimistic person, because I feel optimistic and because I know that the outcome of this is going to be good, but it's going to be painful. It has been painful. It is painful. It is arduous. It's long. It's not easy at all. But the overall picture for humanity is extremely good. And that's how I feel. And you can take that or leave it. If you're watching this, take it or leave it, because it's all about your own intuition. It's about you looking inside and finding the answers yourself. This is all about sovereignty of soul, spirit, body, everything. So I'm glad you're saying that, but it's worth discussing. How do you feel about the idea of talking online and saying, yeah, everything's going to be fine, and then to people watching it go, well, it's not fine for me. I've got no money, and I can't do this, and I've got no food, and I'm blah blah blah. How does that work?
And I totally get where they're coming from. The all is well is, because I know people have shitty lives. A lot of people have shitty lives at the moment for whatever reason, and I'm totally with you. For 9 months last year or 7 months last year, we were in lockdown, masks, bullying, harassment, nastiness, pulled over by the police twice, once just to harass me for not wearing a mask, 2 female police officers, crowded shopping centre, hands on guns.
Jesus.
Me, 57-year-old woman, shopping centre full of people, didn't need to happen, but it did. So I totally get where you're coming from with that. The all is well isn't a flippant, get over it, all is well. It's more about everything is in the divine plan, the way it's meant to be, rather than all is well at this point in time, at this moment, because for some people it's very hard to realise, to accept, to acknowledge, to know that we chose to be here at this time. Everything about what's going on here. And for me last year, it was really hard. My family in Queensland, missed birthdays, missed Mother's Day, missed Easter, missed Father's Day, missed everything. And they were open and their lives were completely almost normal up there. So they were working, things were going on. We were in lockdown. So I totally get where people are coming from and how hard this is for so many people. So the all is well is not a flippant throwaway line. It's more about things are as they are meant to be right now in what you've chosen to come here and experience, rather than, well, you know, all's well, get over it. It's not that.
You know, I'm reminded of a friend of mine who I met, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, and she's a quite prominent author in her country. And she was, when I'd met her, she lost her son, her young boy, to cancer. And at the time, she was doing law of attraction seminars, and her partner and her fell out hugely because she couldn't understand how it was possible that practicing all the law of attraction and all this spiritual stuff and all of that, and yet she still lost her young boy. She just couldn't compute it, and then went on I don't know, quite a deep journey herself to try to come to terms with that. And I had a similar thing back in 2014, 2013. I got this download, for want of a better term, to write a book called Life is Easy, and I started writing it, and I produced all the content, the logo, and it was coming through. And then one person just sent me an email one day saying, "How dare you say life is easy? There are people starving in Africa," something like that. And I was like, "Yeah, I've got a point." and I stopped writing it because of that. It's one of the hardest things about all of this, isn't it? Is that it's people take it personally, and it's because of the attachment that we take it personally.
It's also partly to do with because people forget that we are a soul having a human experience. Everything's about the human life. So it is that attachment to their human life. And we all have it. Like, I have a huge attachment to my kids.
Yeah, cool.
And to yours, we all have that. And things that get me through those really hard times is remembering that I am a soul having a human experience. I chose to be here at this time. And some days I go, what the fuck were you thinking? Why would anyone choose this?
Well, do you know what? I when I was in that meeting, right, when they said who wants to volunteer to go to Earth for this crazy time, and I put my hand up at the back and said, "Have they still got booze, drugs, and women?" And the guy said yes. I said, "I'm in."
And sometimes, you know, I think they say, you know, you have these contracts, and I think of everything I've chosen in my life, why didn't someone slap me and say, seriously, you've got enough going on, stop now, don't keep adding things to it? Why didn't someone just slap me? Well, they probably did, and I went, no, it's all good, I can handle it.
Yeah. I know.
And here we are.
But it's such
welcome to the 13th month of 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
I know, and it's such a test of stamina.
Stamina is a good word, actually.
It really is. I mean, you know, like I don't know if we said it on this recording or we said it before, but lots of light workers at the moment. You said it, and I concur. Finding it really, you know, I had a friend come around yesterday, and she told me about one of her best friends just totally lost her shit at the weekend. Totally lost it. Just started shouting and screaming in the street for about an hour, and she was just like, "What is going on here?" And I think that's happening to a lot of people right now.
It is. But I also think that's part of the waking up process.
So do I.
People. And I was having a conversation with my son earlier about what's waking people up. And the gift that has been COVID has actually forced people to look at the way they're living their life. Not everyone has woken up to it's not sustainable. But a lot of people have gone, well, you know what? Yeah, greed has taken over, and riches have taken over, and it is profit over people in so many of these corporations. And a lot of people are actually waking up to that. When I said to my beauty therapist the other day, I just can't understand why the cafe across the road has had to close, but big corporations are still open. And she went, I hadn't thought about it like that. And I went, well, that's how it is.
Well, this is the thing.
Bar and par businesses are gone.
Well, you know, living where I live, because I work from home and everything, the highlight of my day was to go to this local cafe, have my coffee, maybe go there for lunch, just to meet a few people, say hello, just sort of jog me along. And that's been taken away. But yet you can still go to the petrol station and get one of their sandwiches. It's, you know, so obvious really when you look at it. And then, you know, and I thought, I talked to the cafe owners, but then one of them, she understood exactly what was going on. But the other ones are there with their visors on, and they were only opening up on a Friday and a Saturday. And I'm like, I went in the other week, and it was takeaway only, and they had a bit out the back. And I said, "Can I sit out the back?" And there's nobody there. I just want to sit. And she, "Oh well, you know." I said, "You know what? Forget it." And I walked out. And you know, my favorite coffee hut, I've told this story online before, but I was outside in a queue, and not in a queue, I was just me outside, and he said, "Could you put your mask on?" I was like, oh. It was like that scene in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which I guess you probably saw as a sci-fi fan. It was in the 70s, Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
The whole film is Donald Sutherland losing all his friends and going, "Oh no, not you as well," and then running away. Yeah. And at the end, Donald Sutherland also is taken over. And I'm like, it does sometimes feel like the walls are coming in, and it feels like that. And what I found is what I've been saying since the beginning: go inside. Because when you go inside, and this thing you said about wanting to be there and here, I have been there and here. You know, I'm working there more than I'm working here.
Yeah.
And here is quite tiring because you're doing all of that. And then you're also trying to do this, and you're also trying to live. I've still got the washing to do. I'm looking at a pile of washing here. I've got the dishes to do and all that 3D stuff. But we will prevail regardless of what happens. And I think you're right. The C word is a gift. And it's just, for people like us, it's taken a long time because we understand it better. And I don't mean that in a cocky way. It's just like, you know, we understand it from a multidimensional spiritual point of view.
Yeah.
Well, we think we do.
It took me a long time last year. Obviously, I was, you know, and people going, "Oh, COVID this and COVID," that stopped all this. And I'm going, no, actually, it didn't do that. The government did it.
Yeah.
No, it didn't stop your business. No, it didn't take your kids out of school. Hasn't done any of that. The government actually did that. Everything that's happened, the C word didn't do it. The government have done it.
Yeah.
And but because of, and I went, no, they didn't have to do this at all.
No, not at all.
They didn't have to do this at all, but they chose to do it, and they're still choosing to do it. Like Queensland is now having mandatory QR codes from the 1st of May, and a business can refuse to serve anyone that doesn't want to use a QR code.
And what's interesting is there are certain countries and certain states and certain places around the world which haven't done any of this.
Yep.
And people don't seem to, well, obviously they don't know, because the people that are falling for this are all mainstream media consumers, and they have no idea about anything outside of that paradigm, which is, I can't wait for MSM to be smashed. Oh, people don't realize how powerful it is, do they?
And they don't realize the programming.
No. Well, that's the thing. When you're under mind control, you don't know that you're under it because you're being mind controlled. And people should look at the word government. It's made up of two words: govern and ment. Mind control. That's what the word means.
And that's exactly what it is. And it's so few politicians are standing up and going, you know what, this isn't right. Something needs to be done here.
Yeah, because most politicians are part of it.
Well, I've known for probably, how old is Lucas? I've known for quite some time that the NWO exists, and that you don't get into government anywhere in the world unless you've sold your soul to the devil.
No, unless you're a satanic paedophile, basically.
Mm.
Every one of them, every leader, almost every leader we've ever had, apart from a few that snuck through the net and then they got killed or taken out or whatever when they didn't do what they were told.
And whether it's by choice or by a honey trap or by coercion or by blackmail or whatever.
Yeah, and then people have, you know, letting go of celebrities, letting go of institutions and things. This is the thing that I'm seeing. People are doing it, you know. But I make the point in my Telegram channel and stuff like that. You know, if you've got a TV license, stop paying it. If you've got a debt, stop paying it. If you've got a subscription to Netflix, stop paying it. You know, It's the best thing we can do. And do simple things like grow some veg. Even if you've got an apartment, you can grow potatoes really easily. You know,
we got veggies in our house. Veggies, a veggie patch, and herbs and fruit trees.
It's really simple, and everything you put on your plate that's not from a corporation is another stab in. It's another few pence off their income. And while we're in this financial system that kind of is the instrument of our enslavement, everything that you do in that respect is a help in the cause, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And supporting those small businesses, supporting the local organic shop rather than the supermarket, supporting the local small butcher rather than the big supermarkets. And at least when you support the local small butcher, you're going to know what kind of meat you're getting. And if you go to organic butchers, you're going to know that it's from a sustainable, ethically produced, it's not from a factory farmed animal. If you're going to keep eating meat, where does your meat come from?
Absolutely. Provenance is what it's all about. Providence.
Look at the sustainability of it. Go for that whole paddock to plate thing. Know that the farm it was raised on, know that where it was slaughtered, know that where it was processed is doing it with integrity, with ethics, from sustainability, and dare I even say it, from a place of love rather than from that hatred, that fear, because whatever happens to that animal is in that meat when you eat it. Whatever happens to those vegetables is in that life force of whatever you are eating, so you are taking that on.
You literally are what you eat.
Absolutely.
And any vegans watching this, don't start kicking off in the comments. It's all valid. And the other thing you can do is things like bless your food. And I put this water. This is Kangen water, and then I put it in this hydro. I take things to the. I'm just experimenting with stuff, right? So this one, the hydrogen. This makes hydrogen water. Then I put it under the pyramid. Drink it. Drink far less water. Feel great. It's
well, I'm into Detox Tea at the moment. It's an Australian Indigenous recipe for detoxing, put together by a naturopath, but for detoxing. And it tastes lovely. It's fruity, and have it hot, have it cold.
So you realise now that there's going to be loads of people saying, how do I make that tea?
You buy it. It's a company in Western Australia. You just buy it. You put it in a pot, add some hot water, stir it around, brew it for about 5 minutes, put it in a bottle or a cup, done.
See, I can't tell whether that's Australian humour or if you've got a lag of British humour there.
It's a bit of both. It is a bit of both. Some people don't get my sense of humour because it is the British sense of humour, and other people go, like when I go to England, they go, "You're an Australian?" Well, yeah, kind of, but not completely.
I love confounding Americans, because often they don't. I'm not saying you don't understand it, Americans. I'm saying that sometimes you don't. The British humour is very unique.
It is.
There's a lot of piss taking.
You've talked about Benny Hill before. Oh God, I adore Benny Hill.
Oh God, I was chatting outside yesterday, and the ice cream van came by, and I was like, and then it started going. I was like, I've never heard an ice cream van play Benny Hill.
And the other one I loved was Dave Allen, where he'd sit there and he'd with his half a finger.
Yeah, and his cigarette, and may your God go with you. I love that.
And he'd tell the joke so slowly,
and
then he'd start laughing before he delivered the punchline. And Tommy Cooper.
I'm not going to do my Tommy Cooper impression, but it is very good. I need a few beers normally. So when you've had a few contras, you sing in light language. Are we going to get a song out of you?
No, not tonight. I haven't had any contro, but no, not tonight. It's more about being centered and in that place.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm not going to do that, because I do that to my people. Did that to me when I was a kid. Do your Benny Hill impression? I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Okay,
do you have an impression for me?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm putting on the screen a few important things. My email list is Linktree. There you see the .ee Mark Attwood Show. My Telegram group is there if you want to join that. And I know people are going to be saying, how do I contact Shirley about light language stuff? So I've put your email address there, because you're not really set up for this, but I really appreciate you coming on and talking about it. But I also know people are going to be bombarding me with, how do I contact her? So here you go. It's on the screen. You can't miss it.
I very much appreciate you allowing me to do that for you, because I have to ask permission. So I very much appreciate that you allowed me to do that for you.
Well, you know, this is called Adventures in a Meat Suit originally because of this very fact that we are spirits having a human experience. And I think it's important to share as many of these things as possible, because I'm not, you know, I shared my light code, the light language symbol there, because I'm not worried. You know, I've been attacked to the nth degree by demons for 50 years. I'm just not scared of them. I'm not worried about anything like that. So I feel like I can share this stuff and explore these things from a kind of normal bloke point of view that isn't worried about any repercussions about anything, because, you know, you don't die. So I'm not worried about that. So I really appreciate you doing it for me and sharing that. It's exactly the kind of thing that I want to explore more of. And every chat, and I've learned a lot from you today, and I appreciate that, because that's what this is all about.
I learn a lot from your guests every time I listen to your videos and listen to your guests. So thank you very much for allowing me the time to explain what I sent to you.
No, it's brilliant. And I think that's what it's all about. We all learn off each other, and that accelerates the whole awakening and the next stage in human development, which I'm super excited about, even though sometimes it's a fucking pain in the ass. Because
it might only be one word, one something that triggers in someone else an aha moment, that light bulb moment where they go, oh, and something opens up for them.
Exactly.
And we never know when that's going to happen or who's going to deliver that to us.
Exactly. And so therefore, thank you, Shirley, and have a lovely evening. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Mark.